I came home from Korea, having served my country for 2 long, grueling years, only to find my house gone, sold right out from under me. And my wife, the woman I loved, the woman I thought was waiting for me, she stood there, a cruel smirk on her face, and calmly delivered the words that would shatter my world. "You're homeless now." Was I wrong for the fury that consumed me, for the cold, calculated revenge I meticulously planned in the months that followed? Tell me, would you have done the same thing, or would you have just accepted it? Let me take you back to where it all began, before the betrayal, before the absolute devastation. My name is Alex, and I was in the military, specifically the Army. It was something I'd always wanted to do, a way to serve, to find purpose, and honestly, to get out of my small hometown. I met Sarah, my wife, during my first leave. She was charming, beautiful, and utterly captivated me. We had a whirlwind romance, the kind you read about in books, full of passion and late-night talks about our future. We married quickly, just before my deployment to South Korea. It felt right, like we were meant to be. We bought a modest but lovely house together, a place we both picked out, envisioning our life there when I returned. It was our sanctuary, our future. I poured a significant portion of my savings into the down payment, alongside what she contributed from her own small inheritance. We made sure both our names were on the deed, a testament to our shared dream. We talked about renovations, about starting a family, about all the mundane, wonderful things that make up a life together. Those conversations kept me going during the long, lonely nights in a foreign land. My deployment was tough, as all deployments are. The training was relentless, the separation from loved ones a constant ache. But I had Sarah. We talked every day, sometimes just for a few minutes, sometimes for hours if the time difference and our schedules aligned. Her letters were a lifeline, filled with updates about our house, our dog, and her unwavering love for me. She'd send pictures too, glimpses of the life I was fighting to get back to. She'd tell me about painting the guest bedroom, about planting new flowers in the garden, about how much she missed me and couldn't wait for me to be home. I trusted her implicitly. She was my wife, my partner, my best friend. The house was a symbol of our commitment, our shared future. I sent money home regularly, a significant portion of my combat pay, specifically earmarked for house payments, maintenance, and anything Sarah needed. She managed the finances as I was thousands of miles away. It made sense. I relied on her completely to keep our life afloat while I was gone, to maintain our home, our shared dream. Every single cent I sent, every sacrifice I made was for us, for our future in that house. I believed we were a team working towards the same goal. The thought that she might be doing anything other than supporting our shared life never crossed my mind. Why would it? She was my wife. The final countdown to my return was agonizingly slow, then suddenly, incredibly fast. I was so excited, so ready to be home, to hold her, to walk through the front door of our asterisk house. I pictured it constantly. The familiar street, the front porch light on, her waiting for me. The long flight felt endless, but the anticipation was electric. I landed, went through the usual procedures, and finally I was out. I called Sarah from the airport, my voice thick with emotion. I told her I was on my way. She sounded different, a little distant, a little too casual. I brushed it off, attributing it to nerves or maybe just the shock of me being home sooner than she expected, as I'd managed to get an earlier flight. I took a cab directly to our street. As the taxi pulled up, my heart pounded, but something was wrong. The house, our asterisk house, looked different. The lawn was meticulously cut, the paint fresh, but it wasn't our asterisk fresh paint. The car in the driveway wasn't hers or mine. A for sale sign was gone, replaced by a sold sign. My stomach dropped. I told the cab driver to wait, my hands trembling as I paid him. I walked slowly up the familiar path, my mind racing. No, this couldn't be right. There must be a mistake. Maybe it was the wrong house, but no, this was it. This was our address. I knocked, my knuckles feeling numb. The door opened, not to Sarah, but to a stranger. A kind-looking elderly woman who looked at me with confusion. "Can I help you?" she asked. I live here," I stammered, my voice cracking. She looked apologetic. "Oh dear, no, we just moved in last month. We bought the house from a Sarah Miller." "Sarah Miller, my wife. My name is Alex Miller." She gave me her number just in case, and I stumbled back to the curb, my mind reeling. The world was tilting on its axis. I called Sarah immediately, my fingers fumbling with my phone. She answered, her voice still oddly calm. "Alex, you're home early." "Sarah, what the hell is going on? I'm at the house. There are strangers living in our house." There was a pause, a short, chilling silence, and then her voice laced with something I can only describe as cruel amusement. "Oh, that? Yeah, I sold it." My head spun. You sold our house without telling me? How could you?" "Well, it was half mine, wasn't it? And you were gone." I needed a change. The casualness of her tone was a punch to the gut. "But where am I supposed to go? Where are my things? What about us?" That's when she delivered the line, the one that's burned into my memory, the one that fueled every single decision I made afterwards. She laughed, a short, sharp, dismissive sound. "You're homeless now, Alex, and as for us, there is no us anymore. I filed for divorce months ago. Thought I'd spare you the trouble of finding out while you were still overseas." My world imploded. The roar in my ears was deafening. Homeless, divorced. And she just laughed. The betrayal was so deep, so absolute, it felt like a physical wound. The years of shared dreams, the letters, the phone calls, the sacrifices, all for nothing. All for her to casually discard me and our entire life together with a smirk. So that's the situation I was in, standing on the curb of what used to be my home. A war veteran with nowhere to go, no wife, and no explanation beyond her cold, mocking words. I had just come back from a war zone, ready to embrace the peace of civilian life, only to be thrown into a different kind of war, a personal one, right here on my own doorstep. I was stripped of everything, left with nothing but the clothes on my back and a backpack full of military gear. Before I tell you what happened next, what I did, and how I fought back, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. What would be your first move? Would you have confronted her immediately? Or would you have retreated to lick your wounds? Would you have sought legal action right away, or would you have been too stunned to think straight? Tell me, what would you have done? I stood there for what felt like an eternity, the reality of her words slowly sinking in, chilling me to the bone. Homeless, divorced, all orchestrated while I was serving my country. The elderly woman from the house came out again, looking concerned. "Are you all right, young man? You look like you've seen a ghost." I managed a weak smile. "Just a shock, ma'am, thank you." I couldn't tell her the truth. How could I explain that my own wife had done this? I mumbled something about a misunderstanding and walked away, my legs feeling like lead. My phone rang. It was Sarah again. I answered, my voice dangerously calm, though inside I was a raging storm. "Where are my things, Sarah? My uniforms, my medals, my personal belongings?" she scoffed. "Oh, that old junk, I tossed most of it. Sent a few boxes to your parents' place, I think. Didn't want clutter in my new life." A cold dread settled over me. Tossed my medals. My memories, my sacrifices, dismissed as junk. This wasn't just about the house anymore. This was a complete dehumanization, a deliberate attempt to erase me from her life and to hurt me in the cruelest way imaginable. And the money, Sarah, the money I sent for the house, for our future. "Consider it compensation for my wasted years waiting for you," she said, and then with a click she hung up. I was stranded, alone, and utterly lost. My first instinct was to call my parents, but I couldn't bring myself to tell them the full extent of the horror yet. I ended up calling an old military buddy, Mark, who lived a few states away. He was shocked, of course, but immediately offered me his couch. It was a lifeline. I took a bus, numb with disbelief, and spent the next few days holed up at Mark's place, trying to process it all. The anger simmered, a constant, low burn beneath the surface of my shock and grief. Mark was a great listener. He let me vent, rage, and cry. He helped me get in touch with a lawyer specializing in military divorces. That's when I started to understand the extent of Sarah's meticulously planned betrayal. She had indeed filed for divorce months ago, citing irreconcilable differences. She had managed to get an expedited process, claiming I was unreachable due to my deployment. She forged my signature on documents, presented false evidence of my supposed abandonment, and because I was literally halfway across the world, unable to defend myself, the court granted her a default judgment. Not only had she sold our house without my knowledge or consent, but she had also manipulated the legal system to ensure she walked away with almost everything, including a significant portion of my military retirement benefits. The lawyer was appalled. He said it was one of the most brazen cases of fraud and emotional abuse he'd ever seen. "She played you for a fool, Alex," he told me grimly, "and she did it with military precision." That last phrase, military precision, stung. She had used my own world against me. That's when the anger transformed into something colder, sharper, more focused. This wasn't just about getting my fair share back. This was about justice. This was about making her understand the depth of her cruelty. My lawyer, bless his soul, was a bulldog. He immediately filed motions to set aside the divorce decree, citing fraud and lack of due process. We also filed a separate lawsuit for fraud, embezzlement, and emotional distress related to the sale of the house and the misappropriation of my funds. But legal battles take time, and I was impatient. I wanted to hit her where it hurt, and I wanted to do it with the same casual disregard she had shown me. I needed a plan. While the legal wheels slowly turned, I started gathering information. I knew Sarah had been seeing someone. She'd hinted at it in one of her last vague calls before I came home. My detective work started online. I found her social media profiles, which she had neglected to make private. She was flaunting her new life, pictures with a new man, a smarmy-looking real estate agent named Brian. Oh, the irony. He was the one who helped her sell my house. Their captions were sickeningly sweet, talking about their dream home, which was, of course, a new place they bought with the money from my house. She even had a picture of them clinking champagne glasses in front of the new house, beaming. That picture solidified my resolve. I had to be smart, methodical, and utterly ruthless. My first step was to secure my financial future. With my lawyer's help, I managed to freeze some of my military benefits that she hadn't yet been able to fully access. It wasn't much, but it was a start. I also had to find a job. After weeks of searching, I landed a position in a security firm, leveraging my military experience. It wasn't glamorous, but it provided stability. During this time, I stayed with Mark, who continued to be an incredible support system. His patience and friendship kept me from spiraling completely. As I started to rebuild my life, I also started to construct my revenge. I knew Sarah's new boyfriend, Brian, was a real estate agent, and I knew Sarah herself had dreams of opening her own boutique, a long-held ambition she'd often talked about. This gave me my targets. I started subtly planting seeds. I remembered she had always been very image-conscious, obsessed with appearing successful and put together to her friends and family. This was her weakness. I started by anonymously contacting her friends and family members. I didn't make any direct accusations. Instead, I simply shared links to public court documents related to the fraud case, the ones my lawyer had filed. These documents clearly outlined the allegations against her, forging my signature, misrepresenting facts to the court, selling a jointly owned asset without consent, and misappropriating funds. I let the official legal language speak for itself. The rumors, as I expected, spread like wildfire. Sarah's carefully curated image began to crack. Her friends started asking questions. Her family expressed concern. She started losing social invitations. The look she got at family gatherings changed from admiring to suspicious. This was just the appetizer. Next, I turned my attention to Brian, the real estate agent. A quick search revealed he was quite proud of his online presence, regularly posting about his successful deals and lavish lifestyle. He was also a member of several professional real estate associations. I gathered evidence of the fraudulent sale of my house. I had bank statements showing the money I sent home, the deed with both our names, and the new deed showing Sarah as the sole seller. I also had the court documents alleging fraud. I compiled everything into a meticulous package and sent it anonymously to Brian's real estate licensing board and the professional associations he belonged to. I knew that engaging in fraudulent activity, especially involving a service member's property, was a serious ethical violation that could jeopardize his license and reputation. Within a few weeks, I heard through the grapevine that Brian was facing an internal investigation. His social media posts became less frequent, less boastful. His clients started to dry up. He was losing his professional standing and his income. Sarah, who was basking in the glow of her new relationship and her new life, slowly started to realize that Brian was becoming a liability, not an asset. The big one, though, was Sarah's boutique dream. She had poured a significant portion of the money from the house sale into securing a lease for a prime retail location and beginning renovations for her high-end clothing boutique. This was her grand ambition, her true passion. I knew about it because she had proudly announced it on her social media, complete with pictures of the empty space and blueprints. This was my moment. Armed with the official court documents that detailed the allegations of fraud and the ongoing legal battle over the house sale, I made a series of anonymous phone calls to the commercial landlord she was leasing from, and to several of the high-end brands she hoped to carry in her boutique. Again, I didn't make accusations. I simply pointed them to the public court records. I explained that there was a significant legal dispute over the funds used to secure the lease and fund the renovations, and that the source of those funds was highly questionable. I emphasized that she was embroiled in a fraud lawsuit involving a service member, a detail that often raises eyebrows and poses significant reputational risks for businesses associated with such individuals. The landlord, fearing a prolonged legal battle and the potential for bad publicity, started asking Sarah tough questions. The brands she wanted to carry, wary of associating with someone accused of defrauding a veteran, began to quietly pull their preliminary agreements. Sarah's dream boutique, her pride and joy, her symbol of success, started to crumble before it even opened. The renovation stalled. The grand opening was indefinitely postponed. The news started filtering back to me through mutual acquaintances and through my lawyer. Sarah was in a panic. Her carefully constructed facade was shattering. Brian, facing his own professional ruin, was growing distant, then openly hostile. Their relationship, built on ill-gotten gains and a shared disregard for my pain, was collapsing. They started publicly arguing. Her friends and family, who had once admired her new life, were now giving her the cold shoulder. The weight of her betrayal of the fraud was finally catching up to her. I maintained my silence. I let the consequences of her actions unfold naturally. My lawyer was making excellent progress in court, and it was clear that she would not only lose her claim to my military benefits but also be forced to pay back the full value of the house, plus damages. But financial restitution wasn't enough. I wanted her to feel the public humiliation, the social isolation, the loss of her dreams, just as I had felt it. Finally, the day came for the big court hearing to finalize the setting aside of the divorce and to address the fraud charges. I walked into the courtroom, my head held high, wearing my dress uniform, medals gleaming. I wanted her to see me, not as the broken man she thought she had left behind, but as the soldier she had tried to destroy. Sarah was there, looking pale and disheveled, completely unlike the polished woman I had married. Brian was nowhere to be seen. Her lawyer, a frantic man, looked at her with a mixture of exasperation and pity. The judge, having reviewed all the evidence, was stern. He slammed down the gavel, declaring the original divorce decree null and void due to fraud. He ordered Sarah to return all misappropriated funds, including the full market value of the house, to me. He also imposed significant financial penalties and referred her case to the district attorney's office for potential criminal prosecution for fraud and forgery. As the judge read out the verdict, I looked at Sarah. Her eyes met mine, and for the first time I saw not a smirk but a flicker of genuine fear and despair. The arrogant smile was gone, replaced by a hollow defeat. She had lost everything she had gained and then some. Her dream boutique was a bust, her reputation in tatters, her new relationship destroyed, and a criminal investigation loomed over her head. The feeling was not one of triumph, not exactly. It was more like a deep, satisfying chill. Justice had been served. The aftermath was exactly what I had envisioned. Sarah ended up having to declare bankruptcy. The boutique never opened. Brian lost his real estate license and moved out of state, leaving her completely. Her carefully constructed social circle evaporated. She was utterly alone, drowning in debt and public shame. It took time, but I got my life back on track. With the money recovered from Sarah, I bought a new, smaller house, a place that felt truly mine, unburdened by past betrayals. I went back to school, using my GI Bill, and pursued a degree in cybersecurity, finding a new passion and purpose. I reconnected with friends and family, slowly healing from the deep wounds Sarah had inflicted. I learned a profound lesson about trust, about the darkness that can lurk beneath a charming facade, and about the quiet power of methodical justice. So that's my story. I came home a hero, only to be made homeless by the woman I loved. But I refused to be a victim. I fought back, not with anger but with precision and unwavering resolve. I used the system against her, just as she had tried to use it against me. Like this video, if you were on my side, if you believe that people who commit such acts of betrayal deserve to face the full consequences of their actions. Subscribe for more stories like this, where ordinary people face extraordinary challenges and find their strength. And share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section below. What do you think about my revenge? Was it justified? Or did I go too far? I'll see you all in the next story.